This episode is sponsored by Raycon. More on that at the end. In case you didn't know what you were in for, Cops. It's a movie about cops. And if you can't tell, not in America. So actually the word cop might not work. Constables on patrol. Better? Also, it's cop sirens throughout history because Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg don't believe in doing anything half-arsed. And right from Nicholas Angel's first scene, we know what he's about and where he enforces the law, or services the police. Language is tricky. Also, this picture is literally the shot from this scene. Again, full arsed on 2-second jokes.
And advanced cycling.
Intensity. Garth Jennings, director of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, really working overtime on these operation names. We got Shakedown, Crackdown, Showdown, and Takedown.
We're making you sergeant. In Sandford.
Bilbo/Declan, the Mirror Universe Liz, also narrated this opening, which actually makes sense, almost like it's part of his review for when Angel comes in to hear about his transfer.
You want me to get the Chief Inspector to come all the way down here? Kenneth!
I love that each step up in seniority is also a step up in actor fame level, at least in the UK. Americans probably had no idea who Steve Coogan was at the time, or maybe they'd seen Night at the Museum. And Martin Freeman wasn't quite the household name yet, except for Love Actually and Hitchhiker's fans, but Davy Jones and Victor are well known, plus the movies Freeman is in. And as I said in Shaun of the Dead, pretty much when you need a scary guy, you get Bill Nighy. And apparently it was Bill's request to add this little evil nose twitch, which makes me love him and also hope to never meet him all at the same time.
It's me.
I know, I'm at work.
I know, I'm outside.
What's the situation?
Know the situation?
No, I meant here.
It's the same style of joke from Shaun of the Dead, where each stage has a further reveal that changes the context of the conversation. I know, explaining jokes is the best. Prepare for more.
Janine, I've been transferred. I'm moving away for a while.
I'm not Janine.
But how could you miss Kate's eyes? Kate Blanchett is always a win, even when uncredited.
Does Bob look like the kind of person I'd go out with? It's Dave.
Hello there.
Bob and Dave may look entirely different, but they sure speak alike.
Hello there.
This is actually one of many wins that acknowledge Edgar and Simon went to great pains to make a realistic cop movie as much as a hilarious one. This is what real CSIs look like so they don't contaminate the scene.
You just can't switch off, Nicholas.
You do realize that window is broken from the inside?
Proving her point within the minute. Ooh, that police car transition. You've seen this traveling scene in movies a million times. We just had 7 minutes of a prologue where the main character's life is introduced and it ends with a massive change. This scene is 9.9 times out of 10 some overhead footage of a car crossing bridges set to some upbeat traveling music. Often you don't even need the actual actor at all. Instead, we get Nicholas and his peace lily traveling by train with jarringly quick cuts while he's leaving the city, showing us the ever-waning service on his phone. As we get closer to the country, cuts are a little longer and we see a couple of important landmarks for later on. Another example of Edgar never just pushing a simple set piece off on a second unit. And complete with a day-to-night match cut again. Shaun of the Dead had callbacks and repeated lines of dialogue, but Hot Fuzz takes it to a whole new level. For instance, these swords on the wall.
Oh, I see. It's fascism.
Fascism. Wonderful.
That's the correct face you make when someone thinks fascism is wonderful.
Newspaper.
It's not ours, though.
We're not big fans of the local fish wrapper, are we, Mayor?
The number of insane details in this movie you don't notice until the 4th time through, and then on the 7th you finally hear the pool ball rolling down the ramp like thunder when Angel asks about the fish wrapper. And it's because their actual issue, the complaining about Messenger, the one they believe he should be murdered over, is said right in their introduction.
They listed her age as 55.
When I'm actually 53.
That and the blatant misspelling of bypass. I don't think I understand. Why can't they just drink butterbeer? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all my fans from the UK, feel free to leave a comment making fun of America in the same style. I'm actually not sure what it would be. What is America's Harry Potter? Sandford's brightest braces and most prepubescent voice.
When's your birthday?
If they're in here, it stops them getting into trouble out there. Yeah, the way we see it, it's all for the greater good.
Ha! Something tells me that's never said just once.
The greater good.
My goodness, 8th time through and I finally recognized Julia Deakins, aka Yvonne's mum, aka the landlady Marcia Klein. There are actually so many self-referential moments they ended up cutting an entire subplot where one of these hoodie kids, Gabriel, turns out to be the grandson of Tom Weaver.
What?
Oh, Danny's such a good sport. Another great realistic movie about cops win since paperwork is the most underrepresented part of police work, and Edgar even keeps it interesting. I think I probably said this before about Edgar Wright, but I love to see directors improve their craft and challenge themselves. This was his second major film, unless you count A Fistful of Fingers, which you probably should. But it was his follow-up to Shaun of the Dead, so he figured, why not do a push-in match cut? And then they did. But what? You're telling me those aren't thigh masters for bunnies?
Lock me up.
I'm sorry?
I'm a slasher.
You're a what?
A slasher. Of prices.
And also following suit with Shaun of the Dead, this time one of the main baddies, who's actually presented as a red herring, tells us the truth about himself right away. Plus, he's planting the fun run evidence of his superior speed in our brains too.
My discount's a criminal. Catch me later!
There's a reason we accommodate a few of the younglings at the pub.
The greater good.
The greater good.
Yep, 2 for 2. Can't say it just once. Also, is the greater good that they become
A
Jedis?
few of the younglings at the pub. Your predecessor assumed that rural policing was easy. Ended up having a nervous breakdown.
So that means he also figured out what was going on and they just said he was crazy and murdered him. I like that they don't have to be particularly sneaky or really care about getting caught because they can just kill whoever finds out.
Precisely.
Dark.
He had one thing you haven't got.
What's that, sir?
A great big bushy beard.
Ah, that's better. Slughorn can always lighten the mood. Ah, crap, I did it again.
How about a trip to the Andes?
The embedded subtitles actually say Andes, like the mountains, which means Danny has a point.
Wondering why we call them the Andes.
They're both called Andrew.
Also, because talking to them's an uphill struggle, innit, Dad?
The only swear word not censored is the one where if your mother heard you, she'd tell you she wouldn't see you next Tuesday. Well, in America. And some solid descriptors for Sergeant Tony. Shaun Zombie Slayer. It makes sense that the NWA system is more sophisticated than the whole of the police station. The real heart of the operation, as it were.
Because we all sell apples round here, don't we?
Your dad sells apples, Andy.
And raspberries.
When Rafe was on screen for a few minutes in Shaun, we all should have known he'd be one of the comedic highlights here.
Can't wait to jump into Sergeant Popwell's grave.
Even the detectives who don't know what's going on, know what's going on.
Have you been stabbed, Sergeant Fisher?
You?
Well, I have.
He was, by Peter Jackson Santa. Ah, and here goes Danny predicting the whole movie again.
You ever fired 2 guns whilst jumping through the air? Ever been in high-speed pursuit? You ever fired a gun whilst in high-speed pursuit?
Goodness, this entire scene has Frank just looming in the background, never cracking a smile, completely revealing that he's bad if you're noticing him.
You're quite the marksman. Perhaps you might like to join us for a shoot one day.
He does. Twice, technically. Aw, they send him home with a giant flower arrangement. Honestly, I can understand why they didn't want to let Leslie go.
P.I. Staker. Right, piss taker. Come on!
Yes, Mr. Staker.
I'd only complain because Stephen Merchant is underutilized, but really I can't think of a better role for him than the guy who's missing a swan. It's no orangutan, but it's pretty decent.
Ask yourself, why has he got his hat pulled down like that? He's ugly.
Honesty.
Or he doesn't want you to see his face, because he's ugly.
So much honesty. Shaun of the Dead, but Espanol. Edgar Wright Stockport. I'll be honest, it wasn't until Maisie Williams, Arya Stark, pointed out that the Hound was Lurch that I actually put that together.
May their heads be struck from their shoulders.
Some will.
You mothers.
Look, the mother's gag is great, but you're always laughing so hard at that, you probably miss Danny reaches out to brace himself on Angel and misses just as Angel takes off again. With practice, you too can become a master fence flipper. You almost had it. I really appreciate that the Swan case is a genuine priority for Angel to the bitter end. He's just biding his time to solve it.
I'm simply suggesting that young Peter be given a second chance before he becomes just another crime statistic.
Ha, that works both ways. The best way to keep kids from doing more crime is to keep their records clean. Or kill them, and then your town stats look good for Village of the Year. The church is just so often there, peering out of the background.
Spare for Danny, too.
Happy-go-lucky, slightly doofy Nick Frost might be favorite Nick Frost. Everyone sitting behind Angel and Danny is the NWA, and Bernard the owner is still sleeping. Angel's face.
Sincere apologies for earlier.
It's quite all right, Mr. Blower. Drive safe.
You know, that's the bloke we done for speeding earlier.
Yeah.
Astute observations from Danny. And honestly, I sometimes feel like Nick and Simon can't help but let their real relationships through. Angel just breezes right past and lets Danny have that one. Ah, decaffeination shadowing.
Decaffeinated.
News travels fast.
Hello, Strut Romeo.
Dire Straits is back, and this time they're not just Z-word fodder.
Dire Straits. Throw it.
Danny came through on the Chunky Monkey.
That we won't be short of Chunky Monkey for the next month.
Fun fact, neither Rafe nor Patty smoked in real life, but took it up for the movie. Sort of like a Tom Cruise win. unimpeded devotion to realism?
Martin Blower would lose control of his car and not think to apply the brakes.
Just the reactions alone in this movie. So Filch is a parcel tongue too? Oh, that's 3. I'm done now, since I exhausted the joke and shared actors.
I suppose.
Yes, I suppose.
Compared to Incomprehensible 1 and Incomprehensible 2, Posh Danny is Best Danny. This sounds familiar. Is this the hedge he cut without permission? Meaning they wouldn't have made it if he hadn't? It's the same author, just like it's the same actor. One got an M, one got curly hair, and a worse disposition.
A pint of lager, please.
Yeah, Roy.
Shameless Shaun of the Dead reference, which was itself a shameless Flavor Flav reference, and this is just a shameless reference. You're better off not upsetting Frank too much. Also, do you think they named him Roy just for this joke?
What made you want to be a policeman?
Officer.
What made you want to be a policeman officer?
It's the first time Angel laughs at Danny.
He bought me a police pedal car when I was 5.
Hey, we even saw that pedal car earlier. You must keep it as a reminder of that
Clear sense of right and wrong that I felt at the wheel of that pedal car. Apart from the summer of 1979 when I wanted to be Kermit the Frog.
Shame.
How so?
I think you would have made a great Muppet.
Okay, so the second laugh is even sweeter.
Do you mind if I ask how she died?
Traffic collision.
And not only is Danny using the proper verbiage as Angel instructed, he's also alluding to the idea that his mom's death wasn't an accident.
Traffic collision. Hey, why can't we say accident again?
Because accident implies there's nobody to blame.
And a drinking beer montage is the fastest way to lose half a beer and expand your American action cinema knowledge base.
Point Break or Bad Boys 2?
Which one do you think I prefer?
No, I mean, which one do you want to watch first?
What say we drink to their demise?
James Bond as the parody version of a Dr. Evil type villain who can't ever stop revealing his evil.
Oh, he'll be in bits tomorrow.
We did get a little drunk.
Obviously, all the foreshadowing and callbacks are amazing, but I especially love this one because Danny gets so drunk that he comments on the self-referential nature of the movie in universe.
You get a little drunk. This is me.
These two. Another lovely match cut.
Miss a few dinners, parties at
Dad's funeral.
Danny's little chuckle. This relationship is so natural even as they're building it.
You shouldn't eat late at night.
I don't know, quite like a little midnight gobble.
See, PC Bob Walker thinks jokes need to be clarified sometimes as well.
Put the old top off.
I've had my top off on this lay boy.
Some more of the killers just loitering in the background again.
Like in the films. Something out of backdraft.
You know, it's really tiring that you Brits constantly have to equate things to American movies. It'd be like if I felt the need to compare this to the explosion of Hogwarts. Also, Backdraft is dope. Best use of a locked-off camera ever. The focus starts to drift to the background, but even then the drum beat hits again as he comes back. Again, out in the open, just saying how he'll splat the guy who's ratting him out. There's our cowboys.
Don't forgive me, I'm something of a Wild West nut.
Take out all the little people, you get to waltz off with the cuddly monkey.
And another plot breakdown, since Angel does shoot all the little people and waltzes off with his cuddly monkey, Danny.
Tim!
Isn't it, though? That's brutal.
Start interviewing everyone who was at the bank.
He's got short.
It's these under-the-breath lines that'll get you on the 11th watch. And Danny still got his mini cowboy hat on under the rain cap. Andy 1 is under the umbrella and dry, while Andy 2 is trying to smoke and is completely soaking wet.
It's high time you realise that. You and your monkey. Did he mean me or that?
I mean, who could blame him? Man, something that becomes evident the more you watch this movie 14th time is that Danny isn't the simple character he comes off as at first. Yes, he's obsessed with American depictions of cop action movies, but really quickly he's learning from Angel what it really means to be a policeman officer, and for now that's reading the handbook.
Thanks for the monkey.
What was it?
I want it for you.
Goodness, I love these two. So they basically solve the entire case. The actual motives are always the less important piece of information because who would ever be this petty?
Terrible speller.
Oh, yeah?
Bad actor.
Undoubtedly. Distinctive laugh.
True.
Dubious mention.
Maybe they were all accidents.
Oh.
Respected solicitor. Affirmatron.
Wow, I have been agreeing with stuff wrong all my life.
And tells me this land is very valuable. 10 times what George Merchant and Martin Blower, God rest them all.
Anne Reid hasn't been in the movie barely at all so far, and us uncultured Yanks assume she was nobody, and then she drops one of the greatest sidebar monologues ever, God rest her.
As far as I'm concerned, Cousin Sissy can go and fuck.
Would you just failure to remember your notepad censoring? Which is even another reference back since he had it out with Martin Blower to be used as a weapon, but when he actually needed it for its intended purpose, remembering lots of confusing details, he forgot it in the car. Wait, what was that? Was that a front handspring? I'm starting to realize that the entire point of this movie is that whatever you think is happening, whoever you think is the bad guy, is. His black cape is in the background right there, and his cowboy pistols he uses later.
Consumed with concern for your business and potential disloyalty from fickle customers.
And again, this entire denouement is way more sophisticated and complicated than reality, even though Angel was right that Skinner is a murderer.
Table dancer at Flapper.
Nevertheless.
Look, same exact headcock, same smile. And this particular gag is something Edgar really liked in this movie. I like it, but if I had to give Edgar a crown, I'd give him King of Match Cuts. And after trying it out myself, I can comfortably say I have a new appreciation for his talent. Here's me looking to his other movies for more examples. And thanks to today's sponsor, Raycon, and their Bluetooth earbuds, I was able to do just that regardless of animals or people that wanted to help. And since a lot of us are working from home, it's nice to be able to shut out the noise and just focus with some music, or in my case, hear the movie I'm writing for over all the chaos. And if you haven't heard of Raycon, take a gander at these babies. I've said this before, and Drake, Snoop Dogg, and Mike Tyson agree, Bluetooth wireless earbuds will change your life. They give me such a snug and comfortable noise-isolating fit that puts me in my own little world. If that sounds awesome to you, click my link at the top of the description, buyraycon.com/cinemawins, and for a limited time only during the holiday season, you can actually get 20% off your Raycon purchase. Perfect if you're looking for a great holiday gift. They fit right inside your ear, no stems or anything. And they're about half the price of other premium wireless earbuds. The everyday E25 earbuds are the best model yet, 6 hours of playtime with more bass, seamless Bluetooth pairing, also a bunch of fun colors. So if you want 20% off your own pair, go to buyraycon.com/cinemawins, but hurry, the offer is ending soon. Thanks as always for checking them out, it's a great help to the channel. Well, you probably figured out that this is part 1, I guess at least if you looked at the title of the video. It's not even so much that Hot Fuzz is a super long movie, it's just so dense, and I'm still organizing my thoughts. So part 2 will be next week. As always, thanks for your patience.